We want to solve an equation. 2 divided by x plus 3 is supposed to be equal to 4 divided by x minus 4. Now, we have seen this before. If we have fractions, then the idea is to multiply both sides with the LCD, the least common denominator. Multiply both sides with the LCD, the least common denominator. This trick is always the same. When you see fractions inside an equation, you multiply both sides with the least common denominator. Now, the problem that we are having right here is that we have variables inside the denominator. So we have to be careful about our possible solutions. This denominator cannot be equal to 0. X plus 3, whatever x is equal to, it is not allowed to make this equal to 0. So we are just solving this equation, subtracting 3 from both sides. We see that if x is equal to 3, negative 3, then my first denominator would be equal to 0. And that means that's a bad number. Doing the same thing with my second denominator, let's set x minus 4 equal to 0. We are adding 4 to both sides, and we see that x, let's do the dash underneath here, is equal to 4. 4 would turn the denominator on the right side into 0. That means 4 is also a bad number. These are called our restrictions. Negative 3 and 4. So in other words, before I start solving this, I'm looking for the stuff that is bad. X cannot take on the value of negative 3 or positive 4. Now I'm going to solve. When I look at the left side, I have x plus 3. On the right side, I have x minus 4, neither of which can be factored. And if I cannot factor something, we call this prime. So I have one denominator on the left, which is x plus 3. And I have a denominator on the right, which is x minus 4. And that makes x plus 3 times x minus 4 the least common denominator. This right here, you just multiply them both together. That is my least common denominator. And what I'm going to be doing right now, and this is the step, as always, that looks very long. I take the LCD and I multiply it on the left side. X plus 3 times x minus 4 multiplied by 2 divided by x plus 3 is equal to, I'm running into my writing on the right, so let me move this a little bit further down. What was it? 4 divided by x minus 4, and I multiply all of this also with x plus 3 times x minus 4. Now the reason why we did this, we can put parentheses around the denominators. I notice something here, and that is that the x minus 4 and this x minus 4 is going to cancel out, and on the left side the x plus 3 is going to disappear. So what do we have left? On my left side I have x minus 4 times 2, or 2 times x minus 4. All of this is equal to 4 times x plus 3. Now, this is an equation as before. This is what we called in class a one-line equation. Please forgive my slang. So there are no denominators, in other words. There are now two lines above each other. Being silly. So let's solve this by first using the distributive property. Everything gets multiplied by 2. 2x minus 8 is equal to, everything gets multiplied by positive 4. Be careful. 4x plus 12. Moving my variable parts to the left side, I subtract 4x from both sides. 2x minus 4x, that's a negative 2x. This goes away, is equal to 12. And now I'm adding 8 to both sides. And we are ending up with, let's have a look, this now goes away. Negative 2x is equal to 12 plus 8, that would be 20. Now the last thing I have to do, not negative 2x is what I want to know. I want to know what positive 1x is equal to, so I divide everything by negative 2. And I get that x is equal to 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10. Now here's where we have to be careful. Before I now log in that negative 10 is my answer, I have to look back at my restrictions all up here. The restrictions was negative 3 and 4, and that means negative 10 is a safe number, and it is our solution. The solution set consists out of the number negative